This is the 9 to 5 game review. I review games from the perspective of the 9 to 5 worker who has limited time to play games, maybe an hour or two on the weekdays, a bit longer on the weekend. I find that many people who review games online can dedicate far more time than most of us can to play them, and it gives you a false perspective of what the game is really like to enjoy from your perspective. So, if you're like me and you have less time to play games than you did as a kid, and you're looking for advice about whether a game is going to be fun for you or not in the time that you have after work, well, stay tuned for this video. I'm going to be reviewing Slay the Spire in this game. It's the ultimate deck-building roguelite. If you've ever played Balatro, you're playing children and remnants of the GOAT, the original. This game's been out for a long time. It's a good one. It's a roguelite, so it resets every time you play from beginning. A single-player, turn-based strategy game. So you have a deck like Hearthstone or like any other game. You have resources, energy, mana, whatever it is. Every card has a cost, and you have a turn. So it's my turn. I have a hand of 6 cards. I don't know what the default draw amount is. This card costs 1, this card costs 2, this card costs 0. So I can play only a total of 3 costs, and then I must stop my turn. Then the enemy takes its turn. That's the entire format of the game. Currently, I played this game for 359.5 hours. That's a lot of time. This is nothing compared to how much time some people have sunk into this game. It costs right now 31.99 Canadian. Is that cheap as far as indie games go? No, this is on the higher end, and so I'll let you know in the rest of this video whether that price is justified or not. But if you see the time that I played, maybe you can start making your own kind of guess about whether it is. So this spreadsheet has criteria that are all designed to evaluate the game from different angles that aid you in the decision-making process for whether you can enjoy it in a bite-sized amount. Starting with time to reward. What does that mean? It means when I boot up the game for the first time, how quick am I actually having any fun? Is there an extremely long intro cutscene? Is there a tutorial that is hard locked that I cannot escape? Does the game lock certain mechanics from me that I want to just have available? It gatekeeps my fun until I played for 5 hours. That's what I'm trying to get at with this metric. Well, this game, if you were to download it and click play, you would immediately be into the action. There's no cutscene. The tutorial is going to be just giving you a regular run anyway, and just explaining the tips that you can turn off if you really wanted to anyway. So there is no delay. One, this is a small game, so if you were to buy it right now, you'd be playing in the next 45 seconds, depending on your internet speed. So this is as good as you can get in terms of how quick does it let you have fun. So if you're looking for a game that you can just turn on instantly, and this game's great because it can go on your phone, it can go on the Steam Deck. I play this on my phone all the time, and it's so flexible. And that's the next score. Oh no, learning curve, then session flexibility. So learning curve. Well, it's gonna take a hit on this one. What does learning curve mean? It means how long does it take for you to get proficient at the game system? I find with all games and most pursuits in life, the better you are, the more fun you have. And so there is a trade-off between, you don't want to be, if the game is too easy, well then winning doesn't mean anything to you, right? So there needs to be some difficulty. But how steep that curve is can put you off. If you've ever played Elden Ring, imagine trying to beat the Tree Sentinel level 1. Put yourself back into those shoes. Feel that frustration. Is it beatable? Of course it is. Did 99% of players succeed when they tried? No, they don't. Do many players come away from that experience incredibly frustrated? They've wasted 3 hours of their life because they couldn't put their ego aside and they thought that they could beat it? Yes. So that's a steep learning curve. It's very punishing, and you have to be exactly right. This game, it eases you into it. There is a scaling difficulty that you have to unlock. So when the game begins for the first time, it's not nearly as hard as it can become. But that's for you as a player to willingly subject yourself to. So the default difficulty is quite easy for the player, being honest, and the amount of things that you even have at your disposal to consider is lower. So it's less on you as a player to read 1,000 things and have to make a choice. So it eases you into the learning curve in a very intuitive way for the player. There's only so many cards in the pool for you to consider, so you don't have to memorize so much. The enemy attack patterns are more forgiving. They allow you more time to make your decisions. You will have to learn. You'll have to learn what can they do? What does block do? What does weakness do? What does vulnerable do? There's not so many mechanics that it's not hard to figure out. So, I will say, even though I played this game so much, by no means am I an expert. I've beaten the highest difficulty, Ascension 20, on every character, but if I were to play Ascension 20 right now, my odds of winning are very low. So depending on how you look at this game, if you treat this game like a subject for you to learn, you can probably get much better than me quicker than my time would make it seem it takes to get good. So anyway, I'm rambling. Learning curve is not so bad, but it is present. 4. It's fun even when you know nothing, so don't worry about it. If you have a brain and you can read, hope that you'll be able to get good enough to beat the game at least once. Session flexibility. This is what I was talking about before. How easy is it to quit and to enter into a game? Imagine a game like World of Warcraft, raiding Mythic. What does that require for you to play? Well, you have to assemble a team of 10 to 25 people. Either you know them personally or they're strangers on the internet. So there's a certain amount of time now wrangling those people together to play. Then you have to get into the raid and you have to maintain all of these people for the next 3 hours, uninterrupted, or you will get threatening direct messages to your inbox because you're on pull 25 of the final boss and the guild leader needs their trinket. And they've been fighting all week, but you're one of the tanks and you quit, and now your friendships are shattered irreparably. So what does that mean? Well, that wasn't a very flexible session. When life happens, in the middle of a mythic raid in WoW, you're breaking relationships to play a video game. Your wife is saying, come to bed, come to bed. It's 2 a.m. What are you doing? I'm raiding. Not a flexible session. So this game is nothing like that. It's single player only, so you're never holding other players on the hook. You can leave whenever you want without impacting anybody else. There's no session for you to have to find, so you're not waiting for a queue time. And it's great about memorizing where you are within a run. So in some games, imagine in this game, there is a progression. So there's a beginning and an end, and you either win or you fail. And in some games you would play, maybe you get halfway. If you quit in other games, it takes you back to the beginning next time you play. So this game can save your progress within runs. It only saves encounter to encounter. It doesn't save turn to turn. So let's say there's 20 encounters in a chapter, and there's 3 chapters. It's roughly like that. If you're on encounter 2, playing a run, and you're on the 5th turn in a row, and you choose to save and quit. When you replay, you will be in encounter 2 again, but you won't be on turn 6 again. You'll be at turn 0. So it does memorize your progress. It just doesn't memorize the exact turn that you're in, but that's still more than good enough. So I've had many a run where I get some way in and it's good enough that I do want to continue with that run later, but for whatever reason, maybe I was waiting outside a lecture hall and the exam's ready to start, or whatever it is that I was waiting to do and I was on my phone. Well, now I actually have to go do that thing, so I put my phone away, but that run is there waiting for me when I come back. Likewise on Steam, maybe I'm literally playing another game, waiting to find a lobby, and I pull up Slay the Spire on my other screen. It's that flexible, and it loads so quickly. Anyway, it's very flexible. You can get in with no penalty, you can get out with no penalty, and it saves your progress at any time. So it's you could barely get better than this. You can, but it's really negligible at that point. Grind and Tedium. Grind and Tedium is to say, does the game make you interact with monotonous things just to keep you there? Diablo 4, Destiny 2, classic World of Warcraft. Nobody really likes doing these things, but they're doing it to serve a greater purpose for their player power or some other reason. There are fun parts of the game that are typically the things you played the game for, and sometimes games will package in systems that have nothing to do with that gameplay loop just because they can, and they force you to interact with it. If you played Fallout 4, there's a settlement system in that. The settlement system has nothing to do with the first-person shooting, but there are certain advantages to making a settlement. You can transfer material between locations, you can unlock achievements, you can get vendors. And so as a player who wants to get everything out of the game, you may find yourself obligated to interact with that system. I would call that a grind because it's separate from what the core gameplay loop is designed to do. If you're farming materials, if you find yourself playing a shooting game and you're cultivating soil, you're probably grinding in some way. And there are many games that make you do that. So this game, though, does not have a grind. It has a meta unlock system, which is based on your accomplishments with each character, but it's incredibly easy to do, and it just requires playing the game normally. It doesn't force you to go out of your way to do something crazy to unlock a trinket that you want in the rest of your run. I would call that a grind if it were present in this game. It is not. So there is no grind in this game. There's only so much of a grind as playing for the first few times on every character, but I'm not even willing to call that a grind, honestly, because you're going to be playing those runs anyway, regardless of whether you unlock things or not, right? Value proposition. So what does this mean? Well, the game costs a certain amount and you get a certain amount out of it. So how much do you get for the money? Very simple. For this game, you get a lot. You get a shit ton out of it. It's almost infinitely replayable. There's 4 different characters, and they each play in an entirely different way. They all have different synergies. They all have different ways to win the game, even on the hardest difficulty. There are so many novel combinations of things, whether they be trinkets that you discover, or relics, whatever they're called, different card combinations. There's just, every day I find a new way to beat the game, and to find there's infinite loop combos, there's infinite energy combos, there's poison, there's multi-attack combos, there's there's a lot of creative things, discard, exhaust combos. None of those things might make any sense to you if you haven't played the game, because those are the unique mechanics of the game. But just trust that if you buy this game and you enjoy it, you will get a ton out of it. So it is, this is a game that's more expensive than most of the competition in the indie space. But I think because of the preposterous amount of content that it does provide, I still think it's worthy of a 5 out of 5 in this category. It would just wouldn't make sense for me to give this anything less, given this is only my Steam time. My mobile time is also comparable, right? How easy? So memory burden. Memory burden is a category really designed for the RPG space. Imagine Skyrim. Imagine Baldur's Gate 3. Any game that allows you to have a save file with a unique character and a character history. Every hour you play with one character in those types of games, you start to accumulate a memory burden, and you will pay the price if you ever stop playing and try to play again. I'll give you an example, just to help you understand what this criteria is. You're playing The Witcher 3. You are 110 hours into your save file. You're in the middle of Skellige. Geralt is swimming in the middle of the ocean, partially underwater, because you're trying to get every question mark on the map. It's been 4 months since you played that save file, and you load up. Immediately, your breath is depleting. You open your map. You see question marks, question marks, question marks, some loot, some grayed in. You go to your quest journal. 75 quests in all different regions. Some completed, some not. One active quest. You go into your inventory. Garbage galore. Tons of weapons, tons of armor, tons of runes. You go to the material section. What are all these things? What the fuck am I doing? 100 hours of history is built into that character. You haven't played in 4 months. So you were hoping to get in and have some fun. You spend your 3 available hours reading, understanding, struggling. You look at your build. You're like, why am I all magic? I don't typically play magic. You maxed out the Ard sign for the shield, or sorry, the Quen sign. So that's a burden on your memory. There's so many systems in those RPGs, and the character's life can extend. And when you play, nothing resets. So it's on you as a player to remember what the fuck you're doing, and that's a memory burden. Complex systems add to that. Talent trees, armor customization, weapon customization. The more systems and the more lifespan a single character can have, the more there is for a person's memory to have to keep in their mind to be able to have fun. This game has none of that. So I wasted all that time telling you about a system that has nothing to do with this game. But I described it just so you know why this system has no memory burden. Because, like most roguelites, when you play, you start from scratch. So the baggage of a character file doesn't exist in this game. If you haven't picked this game up in a week or a year, you play, you're on floor 0, you only have the basic deck, extremely simple, you can attack, you can block, and do one other thing. And then everything else that it gives you, well, there's a description. Every card has a description. It tells you exactly what's going to happen. So you can learn it all over again from scratch just as quickly as you picked it up in the beginning. So no memory burden here. Long-winded for sure. Core loop satisfaction. So this means you've gotten past the memory burden. You've gotten past the time to reward. You've gotten past the learning curve. You're now in the middle of the game, having fun in its most optimum circumstance. In that event, is the game actually even fun at all? I would say yes. The answer is this game is very enjoyable. It's very satisfying. You can, when pieces start coming together and synergies happen, you have a multi-hit weapon, or like you get a card that applies, it does 2 times 5 damage, and you have something that gives you 1 strength. Well, that 1 strength is now multiplied by your 5 increments of damage. So that's not 5 damage every attack, and you're feeling pretty good about that. There are every synergy, everything that gives you more power, which there are many combinations of. Each of those provides you with gratification when you experience them. Now, the game is frustrating. You can lose, but you need to be able to lose for the wins to feel sweet. So this review isn't designed really to tell you how good the game is. Take my word for it that if you're in it and you like strategy games, you like turn-based games, assuming those things are true, this is superb. This is the exemplary game in terms of deck builders, turn-based roguelites. If you don't like this genre of game, of course you won't like this, right? If you want to know more about the game for its merits in terms of when you are playing, what the systems are, what the progression is like, watch another video. This game is just designed to tell you that for somebody with limited time to play, this game is worth your while. Why it's worth your while? Seek other knowledge. But I'll tell you, if you like turn-based strategy games, or even if you don't, this one's a great one to cut your teeth with to get into the first time. If you're trying to get into a turn-based genre for the first time, this is very appealing. It's not super complicated. So anyway, 5 out of 5. Fantastic game. Masterpiece game. Slay the Spire, it's one of the all-time greats of any game, of any roguelite. Super good, super appealing, super easy to play, in and out, takes no time at all. I load it up, on any given day. I could be anywhere in the world, and I might open it, close it, play a run, not play a run, pick a different character, and, it allows me to do that, even with the busiest schedule you can imagine. So, fantastic. Jude Points. All this is for me to assign my personal opinion, a little bit of extra push to kind of give the games a different weighting based on what I think. I tried to be objective with all the other criteria, but this one's just for my opinion. I like it. I like it a lot. Not my favorite game, which may surprise you given how much praise I've given it, but definitely deserving of some bonus points. So this is the score. You may look at that and think, wow, masterpiece. And yes, for the 9 to 5 player, get this game in your tool belt now. It's going to pay you dividends for the rest of your life. And they're making a sequel. So I guarantee the knowledge that you might start possessing with the first one is going to help you with the second one. And I'm hoping that second one's going to be even better. Could you even imagine that? Crazy, crazy town. So now to add it to the list and compare it to the other games that I've ranked. So this one, crazy. Look at all those 5s. So it's going to be 5, 4, quintuple 5. Okay, Slay the Spire. 5, 4, sorry, that's a 5. That's a 4. And let's see if this works to just copy and paste. And then 0.3, 5.2, sort that. That's our new number 1. Beating out Balatro. And I think it makes sense because Balatro is, it came from the GOAT, right? Slay the Spire forged the path, and behind it, many great games have walked, but none have quite met the expectations, I don't think, yet. One day, Slay the Spire may be dethroned, but hey, it might be by its sequel, right? Slay the Spree? Sorry, let's fix that. Anyway, that's it. Take a look. Again, this list may look like nonsense to you. It's not designed to evaluate the objective quality of the game. It's just evaluated to analyze the game from the point of view of somebody who has limited time to play. Keep that in mind. If you like this kind of format for videos, check out my other ones.